All right, problem 6-131. Find the equation of the parabola that passes through the points -224, 3-1, and -115. So some key things here that we need to focus on to start out is that we are looking at a parabola. So we're looking for the equation in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. In fact, let's just take it and move that over here. Now, when we do this, we're going to be looking for the values of a, b, and c. We want to find a, we want to find b, we want to find c. So since we're looking for three variables, we're going to need to have three different equations. So we're using each of these points to create an equation. This point has an x and a y, this point has an x and a y, and the third one has the same. So we're going to substitute each point into this equation to make a new equation. Let's start with -224. If I put in my 24 for my y, I'm going to have 24 equals a times whatever our x value is, so -2 squared. And then we've got plus b times our x value, which is also -2, plus c. It's really important that you try to keep your work organized with these ones. So the next one, let's do 3-1. Our y value is -1, so we're going to place that in here. So -1 equals a times 3 squared plus b times 3 plus c. And now let's do the last one here. So 15 is our y, so 15 is going to equal a times -1 squared plus b times -1 plus c. And now that we've plugged in those points, we can simplify these. Let's do it. We have -2 squared is 4. So when I convert this, I'm going to say this is going to be 4a. B times -2 is going to be -2b, so -2b plus c equals our 24. I'm just rewriting these over on the other side. And simplifying the second one, 3 squared is 9, so we have 9a plus 3b plus c is equal to -1. And the last one, -1 squared is 1 times a is a. So we have a minus b plus c equals 15. Now I'm very picky about, trying to make sure that I sort my work and that I don't end up, making mistakes because of being unorganized. So I'm going to label each of these equations. You can label them A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want. I labeled them A, B, and C, and I'm finding A, B, and C. That probably was not a bright move on my part, but since I'm using lowercase letters here, I just made these ones capital. Now, the easiest variable I usually think is going to end up being C. So I can eliminate C pretty easily. So what I'm going to do here for this third equation, since all three of them have positive C's, I'm going to turn this into a -C. I'm multiplying each side of the equation by a -1. So now my new equation for C ends up being -A plus B minus C equals -15. So this is my new equation for C right here. I'm going to now pair A and C and B and C so that I can eliminate that C and solve for A and B. So I'm just marking down which ones I'm using because it's going to help me keep track of my work, especially if I make a mistake. So 4A minus 2B plus C equals 24. And my C is -A plus B minus c equals negative 15. So I know I'm going to do elimination. That's all set up for elimination. I'm going to set up my second pair of equations first before I do that. So since I did A and C, now I'm going to do B and C because C will eliminate just as easily with those ones. Key here is making sure you eliminate the same variable from each pair. I see a lot of mistakes that are made, and that's usually the number one error that's made, is people will eliminate a different variable, and then they're just stuck. So we have 9a plus 3b plus c equals negative 1. And throw our c in there, so we're still going to use the one that's been multiplied by a negative 1. So minus a plus b minus c equals negative 15. Now just do your elimination on each of them. Please make sure that you're careful. This is where mistakes often happen too. So 4a plus negative a is 3a. Negative 2b plus b is going to be a negative b. We have more negatives than positives there. Our c's end up eliminating. That's a big 0. And this should equal 24 plus negative 15, which should be 9. On this pair, actually I like to box that in so I know what equation I'm going to be dealing with next. 9a plus a negative a is going to be 8a. 3b and a positive b would be 4b. We've got our c's eliminating there, and that should equal a negative 16. So there's the other equation that we're going to be dealing with. Now these ones right now aren't really good for elimination because we don't have the same coefficient or opposite coefficients on either of our variables. So this one though we could turn into a negative 4b so that we can eliminate b. So let's do that. I'm going to multiply by just 4. Multiply this one by a 4 on each side here. So I'm really looking at 12a minus 4b equals 36. That one will be a better one to use. So let's pair these two together and solve them here. So we have 12a minus our 4b equals 36. And we have an 8a plus 4b equals negative 16. When we add those together, we're going to end up with 20a. There's our eliminated variable, and that should equal 36 minus 16 would be 20. Then we just finish solving for a. So a ends up equaling 1. So we just solved for a right here. Let's solve for b now that we know what a is. I'm just going to label in my work so you can follow along. So we're going to take our 1 and we're going to substitute it into one of these equations. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to say 8 times a, which is 1, plus 4b, it's written right above here if you forget, equals negative 16. So 8 plus 4b equals negative 16. We subtract 8 from each side, so we should have 4b equals negative 24. So b equals negative 6. And now that we have identified two of our variables, we can go back to one of our original equations and figure out the value of c. Let's see, I like this original one, the a minus b plus c equals 15. So we're going to solve for c. I'm going to substitute in there. So, in fact, I'm going to recopy it here. So, I have a minus b plus c equals 15. So, 1 minus negative 6 plus c equals 15. 1 minus negative 6 is like 1 plus 6, and that's going to give us 7 plus c equals 15. We subtract our 7, and c equals 8. Now remember, the question above asks us to find the equation here. So we're going to plug those values back into our formula here. We had y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to get y equals, it's like 1 times x squared, so just leave it as x squared, minus 6x, because we're going to replace b with negative 6, and then we're going to say plus 8. And that should be the equation that we're looking for. Now to check it, let's just check it real quick. Good habit to get into. Let's go in. I think one of the fastest ways, you can either plug your points back into your equations, make sure they all work in there. But when you're asked to come up with the equation, just take it, graph it, so we've got a parabola, and it may or may not even show up on there. The main thing we want to look at, though, is the table to identify that all of our original points, oops, my calculator disappeared. Okay, so I'm way up here, so let me just reset my table. All right, so our first point there, negative 2, 24. If I go up to negative 2, you see I have 24. At positive 3, I'm at negative 1. And at negative 1, I'm at 15. So everything checks out. That means that we're good. Check that off there. So this is problem 6-131. The answer, y equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. If you have additional questions or you made a mistake, you want to go back and look at it, take your time, see if you can find that mistake. This is Mr. Boyd signing out.